Steele from Santicola, Steele, and Fedeles. It is 6:47, so we're going to go right until 7:30. Ms. Steele will turn it over to you and introduce, and if you have questions for us, and go back and forth, and we'll go from there if that's all right.
Thank you very much.
Shannon, I'm sorry to interrupt, Ms. Steele. I just want to apologize because there's a handful of us eating during this, and it's not standard practice for me, but we have a long night, so I hope you can appreciate that and just ignore us
I
eating.
more than appreciate it.
I'm
Go
sorry.
right ahead.
I want to apologize in advance.
It's actually very comforting, so go ahead and eat. I'm Shannon Steele. I'm a partner with Santicola, Steele, and Fedeles. We are an office located right here in Beaver. We are comprised of 5 attorneys presently. We had a partner or an associate lawyer with us who just became a magistrate in a local municipality. So we hired for replacement a full-time research and writing lawyer, which is something that we needed at the firm because the other 4 of us litigate and handle a lot of outside of the office details. So there's 5 of us now. Michael Santicola is the lead partner at the firm. He would not most likely be handling any part of Beaver, the district, if we were to be selected. Garen Fedeles is the other partner, and he would be your primary contact. At the outset, I want to apologize because he had an engagement that he was already scheduled. He could not change his schedule, so he asked me to come for this evening, and myself, and then we have Brandon Eberly and Susanna Glick. As we put in our correspondence to the district, we normally assign 2 lawyers as your main points of contact for all of our municipal school district clients. That's just so that you have the best exposure to getting answers quickly that you need. In this case, Garen would probably most likely attend the meetings as well as be the first point of contact for any questions that come in on a day-to-day basis. Currently, we represent Rochester School District. I've represented Western Beaver School District in the past. And then we have 13, 14 municipalities locally. We represent the borough of Beaver. And Garen, as most of you know, is also the chief county solicitor. I think that's one area that I would like to focus on because I think that it sets us apart, obviously, from the other law firms that would be before you. One of the major issues that we see with school districts is dealing with taxes. And with Garen being at the county office, as you know in the past, because we've dealt with Jan Burkhardt a lot with regard to the tax assessment appeals. The county and school district are often, the taxing authorities are on the same page. So you wouldn't have to hire someone separate, and you wouldn't have to probably expend anything extra because Garen's already in that position, with the county. So unless there was some type of conflict, which there normally isn't, that would actually be helpful in that regard. With respect to the amount of work or what we're able to do between he and I, we've probably seen a lot, if not every question. As you can see from what we listed, we've been before several courts. We've handled contract negotiations to employee personnel matters to pretty much anything. I know that since I've been practicing since 2003, I've seen a lot of different legal matters for municipal governments. Our former partner, Myron Sinovich, he was, as one judge told me in the county, on a mission from God to have every municipality this side of Pittsburgh. And he taught us a lot. He was very instrumental in getting Garen and I into the area of municipal law, because we found a niche in learning how to deal with a lot of the union representation, mediators, arbitrators, and I think a lot of municipal solicitors don't necessarily have that contract experience. So oftentimes our clients will have to hire out to special counsel. But you do have that uniqueness with Garen, because he's a very good contract negotiator. And another area that I like to focus on in giving presentations is, we know how important the budget is for our clients. And with that, we know that from giving legal services, that you want to ensure that you're not getting gouged for your services. I know that you requested to see at least 2 of our clients what our bills look like. And Garen and I value making sure that our clients understand that we bill for the work that we do, and you're going to get a good product. You don't have to worry about not getting your answers on time and not getting the correct answer. But we also are very acutely aware of, making sure that you don't feel that you're being taken advantage of. One of the areas, I think, for Garen and I, we've taken over in a lot of places that had long-term solicitor jobs, where they got complacent and they, just in our opinion, we looked at their bills and we told the clients that wasn't appropriate. And if you call any of our references, they will tell you that that's something that we pride ourselves in, that we are honest and will do the work for you at the actual, cost that it should be. So that's something I always like to tell clients, because it's something they're very interested in. What is included in what you do? And we typically charge the retainer amount. It's based on how many meetings you need us. And also, we include the general correspondences, the general emails, the general phone calls. If you need legal research or a separate memo, or you need us to do something in the form of litigation, then that's where you see the extra costs. I'm sure that other firms are similar and typical in that nature, but we really do stick to making sure our clients don't feel that every single minute they're getting billed for. So we did explain in the letter how much we would charge. So it's $600 per month for 1 meeting, and if there's 2 meetings a month, it would be the $1,200 and $125 an hour for additional legal expenses. That's pretty much it for my end of it. And if you have questions for me, certainly Garen also wanted you to know that if you wanted to call him directly, he's available tomorrow if anybody had questions that they needed to talk with him about.
Questions?
Let's call him right now.
I mean, Shannon, I have one question I'm asking everybody, and again, I think that you've already answered it, so don't feel obligated. I understand through your practice and the folks that work with you and the extensive knowledge of our community, but how will that knowledge of our community, specifically Beaver, Brighton Township, Vanport, Bridgewater, and Midland, how will that assure your efforts to protect the legal interest of the district? And again, I think that you've touched on, I just want to be fair to all the parties.
You mean in terms of how much knowledge I have about the area?
Yeah, the district and
well,
the neighborhoods we encompass, and our friendship with Midland as well.
Okay, so interestingly, we represent Midland Water Authority, and we previously represented Midland Borough. We currently represent Beaver Borough, and again, like I said, the county. So both Garen and I were born and raised here in the county. I'm a graduate of Beaver Falls School District. He's a graduate of New Brighton. I have several clients, family, friends that attend the school district here. And so I think that having our place here, residing here, Garen lives in Brayton Township, and his wife is having a baby in July. So very likely his child will be going to Beaver School District. But I think that us being here, being tied to the community, having the relationship we have with, representing Beaver Borough, where the school district is very critical and important for how you would understand what we could serve, for the school district best.
Thank you.
Sets us apart, I think, from some of the other firms.
That's my scenario. So
Hypothetical.
It's hypothetical.
Okay.
At last week's football game, 2 members of the football team, a drummer in the band, and an assistant coach took a knee during the national anthem. The board and the superintendent are being urged to do something about it. What's your advice? Hypothetically.
Okay. So 2 football players, a
Yep.
drummer,
Yep, and an assistant coach.
decide to take a knee.
Yep, during the national anthem. At a home football game.
It'd be hard for the drummer.
Really?
Playing the national anthem.
He's not playing the game, right?
Okay, so from our position, when we speak with the superintendent and principals at our school districts, we rely heavily on what they feel because they have the awareness of what they want and how they want to serve their board. From the educational experience and educational law background that they have, I would want to talk to them about what their position is. And then my job as the solicitor would be how to defend that position. I don't want to necessarily come in and tell them what I think they should do. And I think that's a very good way for the solicitor to ensure that they're giving the services that they're supposed to. So I know with respect to how we deal with Dr. Bovalino at Rochester School District, we rely heavily on her knowledge because she's there day to day. And if she were to tell me, this is what I want to do, you find the answer to make sure that I'm able to do it, and that's what I would do in that situation.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions?
Can I take,
Yep, go ahead.
I'm gonna expand on that, and the board hypothetically is coming to you and say, we're gonna suspend, we want to suspend the student, we want to 1 day unpaid leave for the assistant football coach, if he happens to be a teacher here. If he's not, then maybe 1 week off of practice. I'm not sure how we'd work with that.
It's all hypothetical.
All hypothetical, but basically is we want to act in some decisive way, in a disciplinarian type of way. What is your advice back to us?
I would make sure that we have the case law to support your position, because if there was higher court decisions that would indicate that that's going to get you into litigation that's going to cost the district, then I would tell you I don't think that's a good idea. If I have the case law to support it, and I can bring that to you and tell you that it's going to be fine, then we would go with that. I learned a long time ago, one of my mentors is Judge Ross on the bench. He was a solicitor, lawyer, criminal defense lawyer. You have to go to the enabling statute and the case law that allows you to do something. You cannot shoot from the hip. I'm not shooting from the hip now, because every question that we get is going to be unique. And even though you can read media and you can look at social media and you can, think that you've been through scenarios before, you have to put those factual patterns to, the research that we have available to us as practitioners, and see if it's been tested. There are, of course, sometimes when you're the case of first impression, and if you are, and you have clients that are willing to be that test case, we'll do it for you. But most of the time, you're going to have a statute or case law that allows you to do something or doesn't, and we'll get that answer for you.
Appreciate it.
Shannon, quick question. I know we're going to be interviewing firms, both that are, some that are local, some that are more city-based firms, larger, bigger. And I know you answered some of these questions already just with your original synopsis, but what makes you think going with a local firm would make us better served than going with a larger firm that may be further away from us?
Well, again, as I told you in the presentation, I can only go by what I know from what I see on a day-to-day basis. With us being local and having all of the other local connections that we have to the court system, to the municipalities, the relationships that we have the county, that can only serve you better than a firm that's, and I'm not going to say Pittsburgh, but just a firm that's further away that doesn't have any of those connections. I mean, just in as example, if something happens here at the district and you have something that you need to, intertwine with the borough, I represent the borough.
Yeah.
I know those, board members, and I have a very good working relationship with the manager. You have something that happens with the county, and it happens all the time. I'm always asked questions from my local municipalities. Hey, what's the county doing about it? Can you call your partner Garen and find out? So from that standpoint alone, I just think that your answers are going to be quicker, your bill is going to be lesser, and it's just, I don't like to fault the out-of-county lawyers, but when you have practitioners that are here that have just as much knowledge, if not more, and just as much background, why not keep it here to the people that are, living here, paying taxes here, shopping here, doing everything, eating here, we're here. So to me, it just makes more sense to keep it local than to hire outside counsel. And quite honest, a lot of the municipalities that we have been asked to come into, it's because of outside firms doing something that they didn't desire or the boards didn't like. I don't know what that is because we're not privy to that information, but for some reason it seems to happen, and it doesn't seem to happen as much with your local firms. I don't know if that's just because of the relationships, the personal relationships that are built, but it does seem to be a trend, let's just say.
I have one final question, if I can. Describe what you've done in the past that demonstrates your interest in better understanding your clients.
I think for me, personally, I get to know my clients, and I make special effort to relate to them in what their profession is, and to keep in constant communication with them. I don't treat any of my clients as a number. I become very invested, to the point where a lot of, at least let's say from the municipal perspective, the managers, clerks, people that I deal with on a day-to-day basis become almost a part of they're so a part of your day that you become friendly with them. And so you're able to build credibility with them because you answer them, you make sure that they know that they can communicate with you and contact you. I was just recently hired at a local township, and I said the same thing to the manager, and I always want to make sure that I stand behind my word. So if I get the call at 8 o'clock at night, I'm going to answer it. If I get an email at midnight and I'm awake and I can respond to it, I respond to it. And that's how I think you build that relationship so that your client knows that you are doing, that, and it crosses over. I do a lot of family law too. And a lot of those clients become very close to me. I had one lawyer before, I won't say any names, who told a client that you're getting too emotional and I'm not here to give you therapy, I'm here to give you legal advice. Well, that's not true. We're everything. When we provide a legal service, sometimes it does get emotional, even if it's a business client versus a family law client, but emotions do get involved. And you do have to be there to support that. So I think that from my perspective, I definitely know that that's something that has set me apart from other lawyers.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions?
I have one more. How long have you guys been with Rochester School District? How many years?
I think 2012.
Okay, so it's been a little while.
2012, yeah. And I go to the one meeting and Garen goes to the other meeting. But from mostly on a day-to-day basis, he's in contact with Dr. Bovalino. And then he'll come to me if he needs me to do some research or he needs me to cover a hearing for the school district, but mostly he deals with the principals and the superintendent and the business manager on a day-to-day basis. Previous to that, though, when Myron was with our firm, he and I represented Western Beaver School District, and I was assigned there for several years. So I handled that, and that's where, you know, that was the beginning of my career, and I had to do a lot of expulsion hearings, and we had a lot of employee personnel matters. There was the union contract, so I did a lot of that with Myron at Western Beaver.
So now, on a monthly basis, we obviously have the two meetings, the second Monday and the third Monday. With Garen being the lead here, would you two be splitting those meetings, or would he be able to attend all of them, or what would be?
I believe from our discussions that Garen wants to attend both. To the extent that vacations get
obviously.
involved or anything like that, then it would probably be me attending the second meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, we already looked at the schedules of where we're at now and the evenings that we're out, and we have it covered.
My last question, I know on here you state that you guys do Rochester School District, Rochester Sewer Authority, and Rochester Township.
Yes.
So you have all three. Do you ever see any kind of conflict of interest or anything like that when you're tied into, that many, like in one core area like that?
No,
When you got all of
actually, it has served us very well to be in all three of them, specifically the Rochester Township and Rochester School, because they have more, the sewer authority doesn't have much involvement.
Yeah.
But it has helped us. We have not really ever had a conflict because of, and if we did, or if that were to happen here, and the borough of Beaver and the school district had some type of conflict, obviously, you can hire special counsel if there becomes an issue. But most of the time, in those areas, they've always worked well together, and they've always gotten along, because the chief of police for the township, when we were there, it was just when they started school resource officers. So we were very helpful in, facilitating, having the township police officers come into the school and building the relationship between the municipality and the school district. We haven't had any conflicts, actually.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right. Ms. Steele, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We will be in touch.
And I believe that you do have Garen's information from, he attached a resume to the letter, but I did give everyone my business card, and he's obviously at the office, so you can get in touch with him if you need to speak with him specifically. And again, he apologizes for not being able to be here. Okay?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.